My family kicked me out years ago because they had no space. Now they demanded I give my house to my brother. I called the police when they tried to move in. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments below and hit that like and subscribe button so you won't miss more interesting stories. My name is Liam, and the last time I cried was when I was 16 years old, standing on the front porch of my childhood home with a trash bag in my hand. I wasn't crying because I was sad. I was crying because I was in shock. It was a Tuesday. It was raining, and my father had just locked the deadbolt in my face. The reason? No space. That was the phrase they used. We have no space, Liam. We lived in a 4-bedroom house. There were 4 of us. Me, my parents, and my older brother, Tyler. Tyler was 18. I was 16. We each had our own room. My parents had the master suite. There was a guest room that my mother used for her crafts, which mostly consisted of buying yarn she never used. But Tyler, the golden child, had decided he wanted a man cave. He wanted a place to put his new gaming setup and a pool table he had bought with money my parents gave him. He didn't want to use the basement because it was too damp. He didn't want the garage because it was too cold. He wanted my room. My room was the second biggest in the house. It had a nice view of the backyard. I had spent years painting it, putting up shelves, making it my sanctuary. Tyler needs the space to express himself, my mother had said, avoiding my eyes as she packed my clothes into black plastic bags. He is an adult now. He needs room to grow. But where am I supposed to go? I had asked, my voice cracking. The couch? I suggested. The basement? No, my father said, drinking a beer. You're 16. In my day, men were out working the fields at 12. You're old enough to figure it out. Besides, having you around is cramping our style. We need the space, Liam. You're just taking up air here. Taking up air. They kicked me out. Legally, they couldn't really do that to a minor, but my parents were masters of manipulation. They told me if I stayed, they would make my life a living hell. They threatened to call the police and say I was unruly. They threatened to destroy my things. So I left. I spent the next 2 years living a nightmare. I slept on friends' couches until their parents got tired of me. I slept in the back of a rusted Honda Civic I bought for $300. I showered at the YMCA. I did homework by the light of street lamps. I worked 3 jobs. I flipped burgers. I mowed lawns. I washed cars. I saved every penny. I graduated high school with dark circles under my eyes and a grit in my soul that wasn't there before. I didn't go to college. I couldn't afford it, and I didn't have the time. I went into construction. I started as a laborer, carrying heavy loads of lumber until my shoulders blistered. Then I learned framing. Then drywall. Then electrical. I had a knack for it. I understood how houses were built. I understood how to make something strong out of nothing. By the time I was 22, I started my own small contracting business. By 25, I was flipping houses. By 28, I was a millionaire. I never spoke to my family. Not once. They didn't try to find me. They didn't care. As far as they were concerned, I was just space that had been cleared out. I kept tabs on them, though. I knew Tyler never moved out. I knew he failed out of college. I knew he got a girl pregnant, then broke up with her, then moved back in with mom and dad. I knew my parents remortgaged their house to pay off Tyler's gambling debts. They were sinking. I was rising. Last year, I finished my masterpiece. I bought 5 acres of land on the edge of town, overlooking a lake. I designed and built my dream home. It wasn't a mansion, but it was impressive. 4,000 square feet, floor-to-ceiling glass windows, a chef's kitchen, a 6-car garage for my collection of vintage motorcycles. I posted a picture of it on my business Instagram page. I didn't think much of it. My profile was public because it was for my company, Liam Builds. That was my mistake. 3 weeks ago, I got a phone call. I didn't recognize the number, but the area code was familiar. Hello? I answered. Liam? A woman's voice. High-pitched, pretending to be sweet. I knew that voice. It was the voice that told me I was taking up air. Mother, I said. I didn't ask how she was. I didn't sound happy. I sounded dead. Oh, Liam. It's been so long. She chirped. We've been so worried about you. We looked everywhere. No, you didn't, I said. You kicked me out when I was 16. You haven't called in 12 years. Oh, stop living in the past. She dismissed my trauma like it was a fly. We were just teaching you independence. And look at you now. We saw the house on Facebook. Aunt Jenna shared it. It's magnificent. What do you want? I asked. We want to see you. We're family. Your father misses you. Tyler misses you. We want to come over for dinner. just to catch up. I should have said no. I should have blocked the number. But a part of me, the petty, angry part, wanted them to see it. I wanted them to see the space I had created. I wanted them to see what the boy they threw away had built. Fine, I said. Sunday at 6 p.m. Don't be late. Sunday came. I prepared a simple dinner. Nothing fancy. I didn't want to cook for them. I ordered pizza. They pulled up in a beat-up sedan that sounded like it was dying. My father got out, looking older, heavier, and meaner. My mother looked frail but had that same sharp glint in her eyes. And Tyler looked like a mess. He was 30 years old, wearing a stained hoodie and sweatpants. He looked like he hadn't showered in days. They walked in. Their jaws dropped. They walked through the foyer with the 20-foot ceilings. They looked at the polished concrete floors. They looked at the view of the lake. Wow, Tyler said, looking around greedily. This place is huge. You live here alone? Yes, I said. Just me. Must be lonely, my mother said, touching a sculpture on my table. All this space, wasted on one person. We ate the pizza in the dining room. The conversation was painful. They bragged about things that weren't true. My dad claimed he retired early. I knew he got fired. Tyler claimed he was an entrepreneur. He sold herbal supplements on the internet. Then, the pivot happened. My father wiped his mouth with a napkin and looked at me. Liam, he started. We need to talk about the situation. What situation? I asked. The family situation, he said. We are struggling. The economy is bad. Your brother? Well, Tyler has a baby on the way. His girlfriend, Jessica, is 6 months pregnant. They are getting back together. Congratulations, I said flatly. What does that have to do with me? Well, my mother jumped in. They need a place to live. Our house is, well, it's full. We have your aunt staying with us now, and with the baby coming, there is simply no space. There it was. No space. And I asked, and you have all this? Tyler waved his hand around the room. You have 4 bedrooms. You have a guest house. You have a finished basement. You're one guy, Liam. You don't need all this. I built it, I said. I paid for it. It's mine. We're family. My dad slammed his hand on the table. You owe us. We raised you. You kicked me out when I was 16, I reminded him. You raised me to be homeless. We made you a man. He shouted. And now it's time for you to step up. We've decided that the best solution is for you to let Tyler and Jessica move in here. They can take the master suite since they will have the baby. You can take the guest house. It's plenty of room for a bachelor. I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. It was a cold, dry sound. You want me to give my master bedroom to Tyler? I asked. And live in my own guest house? It's temporary, my mother lied. Just until Tyler gets on his feet. Maybe 5 or 10 years. And we would visit often, of course. We could even move into the basement to help with the baby. It would be a family compound. No, I said. The room went silent. What did you say? Tyler snarled. I said no. I stood up. Get out of my house. You aren't moving in. Tyler isn't moving in. Nobody is moving in. This is my space. Mine. You selfish little brat. My mother screamed. After everything we did for you? You did nothing for me. I roared back. Now leave before I call the police. They left, screaming insults. Tyler kicked my mailbox on the way out. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. 3 days later, I was at a job site. It was a Tuesday. I got a notification on my phone from my smart home security system. Motion detected, front door. Motion detected, living room. I opened the app. I watched the live feed. My front door was open. My father was carrying a box. Tyler was carrying a suitcase. My mother was directing them. They had a locksmith with them, a guy I didn't recognize, who was drilling out my smart lock. They were breaking in. They weren't just breaking in to steal. They were moving in. I saw a moving truck parked in my driveway. A legitimate moving truck. I watched on the camera as Tyler threw his duffel bag onto my white leather couch. He put his feet up on my coffee table. This is the life, I heard him say through the camera's microphone. My blood boiled. It wasn't just anger. It was a violation. They thought they owned me. They thought that because they shared my DNA, they were entitled to the fruit of my suffering. I didn't rush home. Rushing home would mean a physical confrontation, and I knew my father would try to fight me. I didn't want to fight. I wanted to destroy them legally. I called the police. 911. What is your emergency? My name is Liam Miller. I am the owner of Address. I am watching a live security feed. There are 3 intruders in my home. They have broken the lock. They are currently inside. Are you in the house, sir? No. I am 10 minutes away. Do you know the intruders? Yes, I said. They are relatives I am estranged from. They do not have permission to be there. I have told them to leave previously. They have broken in. Officers are on the way. I drove home. I arrived just as 3 police cruisers pulled up, lights flashing. I got out of my truck. The officers had their guns drawn, approaching the front door. Police, come out with your hands up. One officer shouted. The front door opened. My mother walked out, looking indignant. She was holding one of my vases. What is the meaning of this? She screeched. We are moving in. My son lives here. Ma'am, put the vase down and step forward, the officer ordered. This is ridiculous. My father yelled, coming out behind her. I am his father. I have a right to be here. Then Tyler walked out, eating an apple from my fruit bowl. What's going on? Tyler asked with his mouth full. I walked up the driveway. The officers looked at me. Sir, are you the homeowner? The sergeant asked. Yes, I said. I am Liam Miller. Here is my ID. Here is the deed to the house on my phone. Do these people live here? The sergeant asked. No, I said loudly, so they could hear. I have not seen them in 12 years until last Sunday. I told them explicitly they were not welcome. They broke my lock. You can see the drill marks. He's lying. My mother cried. He invited us. He said we could stay? I have security camera footage of them breaking in with a locksmith, I said, holding up my phone, and audio of them discussing how to take over the master bedroom. The sergeant looked at my parents. You hired a locksmith to enter a home you don't own? It's a family matter. My dad shouted. He tried to step toward me. Liam, tell them to leave. Stop this nonsense. I want them arrested, I said to the sergeant. For breaking and entering, burglary, and trespassing. Liam, my mother wailed. We are your parents. You can't put your parents in jail. You had no space for me, I said, looking her dead in the eye. And now, I have no space for you. But I hear the county jail has plenty of room. The officers moved in. They handcuffed my father first. He resisted. He tried to swing at the cop. Bad move. They tackled him. He face-planted into my gravel driveway. You are under arrest for breaking and entering and resisting arrest. The officer shouted. They cuffed Tyler next. He started crying instantly. I have a baby coming. You can't do this. Tell it to the judge, the officer said. They cuffed my mother last. She looked at me with pure hatred. I wish you were never born, she hissed. Feeling is mutual, I said. They were hauled away in the back of the cruisers. The moving truck driver, who realized he was part of a crime, tried to drive away, but the police blocked him in and questioned him. He admitted my father had hired him and claimed he lost the keys to the house. I went inside. My house was a mess. Mud on the floors. My lock destroyed. But it was quiet. It was mine. The aftermath was brutal for them. I pressed charges. I refused to drop them. My aunt called me, begging me to let it go. I told her if she called again, I'd block her too. My father, having a prior record for assault I didn't know about, was denied bail initially because of the resisting arrest charge. He spent a month in jail before his trial. My mother and Tyler got out on bail, but they had to use their house, my childhood home, as collateral to pay the bondsman. The legal fees destroyed them. They had no money. They were already drowning in debt from Tyler's gambling. 3 months later, they defaulted on their mortgage. The bank foreclosed on their house. This is where the twist comes in. I work in real estate. I know when houses are going up for auction. I saw my childhood home, the house with the room I wasn't allowed to have, pop up on the foreclosure list. It was selling cheap. It was in bad condition. I bought it. I bought it through an LLC so they wouldn't know it was me. I paid cash. 2 weeks ago, the eviction notice was served. They had to leave. They had nowhere to go. They were packing their things again. I decided to pay a visit. I pulled up in my truck. They were standing on the lawn, surrounded by boxes. The same lawn I stood on when I was 16. My father looked at me. He looked broken. He had lost his job because of the arrest. He whispered. Did you buy this? I did, I said, leaning out the window. Are you going to let us stay? My mother asked, a glimmer of desperate hope in her eyes. We can pay rent. Please, Liam. We have nowhere to go. Tyler's baby is due any day. I looked at the house. I looked at the window of my old bedroom. I have plans for this place, I said. What plans? Tyler asked. I'm going to knock it down, I said. It has bad memories. I'm going to turn the lot into a community garden. Or maybe a dog park. You're going to demolish our home? My mother cried. It's not your home, I said. It's my property. And honestly, I put my sunglasses on. I just don't think you guys fit the vibe. There's just No space for you here. I rolled up the window and drove away. They are currently living in a motel 2 towns over. Tyler's girlfriend left him when she found out they were homeless, and she moved back in with her parents. My parents are destitute. They call me from block numbers sometimes, begging for money. I changed my number yesterday. I sleep very well at night in my big, empty house. It's quiet. It's peaceful. And there is plenty of space.